Hi all, very happy to welcome you all to my session on JavaScript closure. Okay, so first let us understand what is a closure. Closure is nothing but, by definition, it is the access to the context in which it was created, even though it is returned. Okay, maybe the definition is quite confusing. So let us understand with the example. So this is my example. Okay. So in my example, I have a function which has var a equal to 10, okay, and it has an inner function which uses the value in the parent context, that is var a equal to 10, and computes some value and returns a object. So this function basically returns this inner function. This is what it is doing. Okay. So the context here I refer to execution context. Even in the definition, we are referring to a context. It means execution context. So if you don't know what is execution context, I will recommend you to see my session on execution context, where I would have clearly explained about execution context. I will be adding it in the description and also as a card in YouTube, so that you will be receiving a notification when you see this. Okay, you can click on that and read that and come back here so that can better understand. Okay, for this is what how the execution context would have got created. So we have a global execution context which is created anyway, and for every function there will be a execution context which will be created. Okay, so for this func there will be execution context created, and for this inner func there will be another execution context created. Since it is this execution context is inside this execution context, it is all created inside. Okay, okay. So here what I'm doing here is I'm calling this func. Okay. When I call this func, what will be returned? Will this be returned? No. It will return this function. This function will be returned. If you try to print out func, okay, the func will have this function. Okay. Okay. Maybe I will also try to put it in console and show you. But in this inner func, there will be this function will be written, not this return. It will return this function itself. Okay. And when I call again this inner func, because in inner func we have this function. Now the inner func, inside the inner func, this will be computed. But what is very different here is this inner func is already returned. Okay, you have already called this function and you have asked it to return this function. This function is already returned. Even though this function is returned, okay, this function is returned, it is still able to refer a equal to 10, which is available in the parent context. Okay, even though closure is nothing but, even though this inner func is returned, you have called this func, okay, which is returned this inner func, which is already returned to you. Okay, even though this is returned, it is still able to access the value a, because when you call inner func here, okay, when you call this inner func here, it is able to access a, which is present in the outer context in which it was created, parent context in which it was created, and able to return the object after computing a plus 10. So when you print this value, you should be getting 20 because a is 10. You understand? Now let's move back to the definition. So the definition is the access to the context in which the function was created even though the function is returned. The access to the parent context in which it was created, in which the function was created, even though the function is returned, still it is able to access the values which is present in the parent context. Okay, if it is like this and I call inner func here, okay, just remove this return. If I call this inner func here, okay, now it is obvious that it is already inside only. So now it can access the value a equal to 10. This is understandable by us, right? Because the inner func is all inside the func only. So it is will be able to access a equal to 10. But in this case, in the case of closure, what is happening is from this func, you have already made the inner func to be returned, and when you call this function, it is able to access the value a equal to 10, which is present in the parent context. So this is what closure is. Okay, hope you understood. Okay, I can also try to show this in my console. I will show you. So now you should be able to get the value. I will also print this inner function. Okay, maybe I don't need with call. I will print. So this should be the inner function here, and this should return the object, and that object I'm trying to retrieve. Let me go to the console and I'm trying to access this. See now what is the console of this inner function? That is the complete function, whatever we created here, right? That function got printed here. This function got printed here, right? In a function, we are able to see that function, and in return 20, in the return value, we are able to see 20 because a value is 10 and plus 10 means 20. So we are able to see 20. Okay. So what is the most important thing of usages of closure? The most important usage of closure is by closure we can achieve the private, which is available in almost all languages, right? We can uh, we can achieve the encapsulation in JavaScript by means of closure. Because here when you return this, only through this function you can access this context. Now this becomes like private, right? This becomes like private and this becomes like a public. Okay, this becomes like a public variable, public function. So only through this public function you will be able to access the private variable, which is var a equal to 10. So this is why it is very important concept in JavaScript. By means of this, we achieve encapsulation in JavaScript. So the basic takeoff from this fun session is we understood what is a closure. We tried to understand with the example, and we saw what is one of the most important usages of closure, which is achieving encapsulation in JavaScript. Okay, hope you understood. Kindly subscribe to get about my future videos, and my schedule will be like adding each video every day or at least 3 to 4 videos per week. Thank you guys. Have a nice day.